All right, now it's time for our sound off question. Go to our Facebook page, which will lead us right into our first guest. Who is your favorite member of the royal family? Go there, sound off, give us your answer. We may have time to read them a little bit later on in the show. All right, first up though this morning, the Prince and Princess of Sussex, Harry and Meghan, will soon be parents to baby Sussex, but this royal delivery will be much different than those of William and Kate's. Here to chat about all the royal fun are royal watchers. We've got Hannah Stanley and Fred Weintraub. They're Chicago radio hosts and hosts of the podcast called Gabby Road. Good to have you guys here today.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Okay, so this is great. This was our sound off, as you heard today. Do you each have a favorite member of the royal family? I know you have to. You can only pick one.
I love the Queen.
You love the Queen.
I'm very torn because I think George is the most precious child ever.
Yes.
But the Queen is just the most proper grandmother ever.
Yeah, she is. Yeah. She is. How about for you?
I would tell you that for me, it's William, because he has such weight on his shoulders, but he knows that he first has to be a dad first, and there will become time when he will take over the reign. And so he's my favorite, but it'll be interesting to see what your viewers think, because I could tell you who's the most popular just in general. It's Harry.
It is, well, of course.
He's the rock star.
Because he's so funny.
He is.
People have loved watching him. He was sort of like the funny little kid growing up, and now he is all grown up and living his own life. How do two people, though, I need to know, how do you become royal watchers? Is it just an obsession? Is it something that you are dignified with?
So,
have you been knighted? I don't know.
The Queen comes to you with a sword, and she says, you will be one of the royal
Right.
But the truth of it is, so I live part of the year between Singapore and London.
That's right.
And I found myself in all these years of London talking to a person named Hannah Stanley on the radio in Chicago all the time. So we developed this.
Interviewing him.
Yeah. So we developed after a while this. We're on for an hour at a time on Hannah's show. And I'm in London, and so that's how that part started. And we both come from a radio television background, both journalists.
Yeah.
And so, you know, there is half the world that says I could care less about the royal family. And I will tell
But
you
who cares about them?
And I'll tell you this
Let's
one
talk
quick
about us.
story. As I was covering Kate and William and their wedding, every guy would say, I could care less about the royal wedding. Yet when 11 o'clock struck on that day of the royal wedding, every guy was in a pub. Every guy was watching it on television. Every guy thought it was really cool. But that's how we got together.
That's great. I love that.
And truthfully, this is, you know, the greatest ongoing drama in the world. It's hundreds and hundreds of years. They've developed, you know, documentaries and docuseries and fictional series all about this family and the structure of how this is run. And so now with this newer generation developing in front of all of us, it's really quite fascinating, especially now that we have an American who's involved.
Well, and that's what I wonder, because, you know, they talk about these feuds and the things going on. We'll kind of get to that, but first I want to talk about the baby. But in general, you know, this sort of Americanization of the royal family, will it become less popular if it becomes more modern and American?
I disagree. I don't.
You don't think so? You think it'll only bring us in more?
I think it's going to suck us in more. You know.
Okay, let's talk about the baby.
And I think the British, I think, would look at it as the United Kingdoming of Meghan instead of the Americanization of the royals.
Good to know.
But Meghan has been very smart about how she's handled her road into the royal family. And the bottom line, the real story that none of us know, because it's all part of a media puzzle that we can all guess forever as to what's really happening. But what we know for sure is we know for sure that she hasn't had the baby yet, or we don't think she's had the baby yet. And we know for sure that she's going to do it her own way, which is different than Kate and William, and there's nothing wrong with that.
What's the difference? I'm not aware.
So for Kate and William, you know, they had the baby in London, and within 6 or 7 hours, they were walking outside of the Lido Win, looking gorgeous. And while I can't really speak to this, I can only imagine that when a woman has a baby, how 6 hours later are you walking outside looking like another day at the office?
Right. I think that a lot of women probably were like, no. I don't know if they all resonated with that.
Right.
So how will Meghan potentially be different?
Well, my belief is that it's going to be as private as they can make it. This child is not going to be next in line to be on the throne. Therefore, it's not necessarily as much of the people's baby as it is their own child. So they're able, and I was saying private, and Fred was agreeing with me, but he said maybe 6 or 8 hours, and I was like, maybe 2 days.
Right.
So
but
we'll see.
But they're doing it totally different because they're going to have their child. We don't even know which hospital, whether it'll be in Windsor, which is where they live, or whether it'll be in London. But from the time they have the baby, they really only have a certain number of hours that's private time before the whole world knows what they are.
What it is, yeah.
They want that to be their private family time. When we have children, we can decide we're going to call our parents when we want to call our parents.
Right.
We can do it in our own way.
Or they can be there, or they don't have to be
They
there.
can't do that. But Meghan and Harry are doing it their own way, like they're doing everything their own way, which isn't a bad thing, which keeps the royal family active, interested in why people love them.
It's true. It's something different. It's something very new. Let's talk about the feuds going on, because personally, I'm gonna be honest. I don't believe in the feud between the girls.
Good.
I don't believe in it at all. I think it's sensationalized. It's the media's way of pitching two women against each other, which I am totally against.
Right. No, there were rumors that you and I don't like each other.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And here I'm like asking her to give me her lemon shirt after the show.
I completely agree. The British tabloids, they have to sell papers. We get that. We've seen this happen before. All of us are in complete agreement. It is completely fabricated based on glances and lip reading.
They have different roles. Kate has a different role because she will be queen one day. Meghan, unless horrific things happen, will not be queen, but she will have great input, as will Harry. So you hear all these rumors that they're fighting. Well, I don't know anybody who's fighting, but then you know for sure that William and Kate went to visit Meghan on Easter.
Right.
And whether they go to Africa, which there are rumors that they're moving to Africa, no one's pushing them out.
Or
they may
America.
decide in a year that they can do good in Africa, they can change the world there, so they may go there for a year. But the press, of which we're guilty of, yaks about what's going on as if we really knew, because it's not like the
we
Queen's.
don't.
It's not like the Queen's picking up the phone, going, Fred,
Here's what's
here's
happening.
the real deal.
Yes,
you
she's
get
not
this
doing that.
information out.
No.
We're out of time, but I need to know, is there a feud between the boys? That's my real question. No. You don't believe that either?
They separated their office because they're developing to their own careers.
Okay. How can people find you guys? I know it's GabbyRoad.net.
Yep, and we have our Facebook page, which is Hannah and Fred, and then also the podcast will be publicized everywhere, but it's going to be Gabby Road.
Love it. You guys are wonderful. You have to come back.
I would love to.
That'd be great. Thank you so much.